Now you're coming in with Tom Petty. Now are you an official Heartbreaker at this point, or are you just kind of tagging along with the band?
Well, I've been tagging along with this band for about 13 years in October. So our official designation is Sidebreaker, but Tom considers us Heartbreakers.
This Sidebreaker, there you go. Now I remember seeing you first playing with Tom Petty back in, as you said, about 13 years ago. I believe it was Stan Lynch, I think, was the former drummer.
Absolutely.
Right, and the first time I saw you playing on with him was about '95. I remember seeing you playing with Petty back when he did a solo album. How would you compare playing with Tom Petty today compared to when you first signed on with him?
Well, I mean, I got to tell you that it's always been a great musical experience playing with Tom. I was actually playing with Brian Ferry. I was doing a tour with Brian Ferry when I got the call to go and play with him, and I was looking at a year. I didn't want to continue touring with Brian, and I wasn't really enjoying the touring too much there. And I remember my girlfriend at the time said to me, she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I really like that album that I did with Tom Petty. I'd love to do that." But I said, they got Stan Lynch is the drummer with the band. I said, I'd like to play with them. That would be fun to go out on the road with them. And then the next day, the phone rang, and actually I was in Europe, and she called me up. She said, "Tom called you, wants you to call him back." And I was like, well, I should have bet on the lottery yesterday.
And you ended up kind of winning it anyway.
It's not really changed so much. It hasn't really changed so much because really this band is all about the music. It's it's not really a sort of leaping around dancers and sort of show stuff. I mean, we kind of leave that to Jim Lanahan, our wonderful lighting director who comes up with these fantastic sets, and that kind of if there's anything visual goes on at all. Yeah, he sort of takes care of that, but up there on the stage where we are, it's all about the music, and that's what it's always been about. And that's what I love about the Heartbreakers. And
what kind of are there any little things we should watch for in the show at Rockfest this weekend?
Well, there's a lot of interplay goes on between the band. I don't know about watch for, listen for it.
There you go.
Because every night it's not just a sort of. A lot of people talk about jam bands. I mean, this band does a lot of jamming, but within the structure of the song. Right. So there's a lot of surprises that sort of come up, musical surprises for us. As we've got to keep our wits about us. Yeah.
Now, as everyone knows who knows about your career, you're one of the top session drummers around. You played with tons of people. My introduction to you actually came from Duran Duran.
Oh, wow.
I'm a big Duran Duran fan.
You must be one of those young guys.
I'm on the younger side, yes, but I've been following their comeback this past year, and I saw them on tour this time around with Roger Taylor back in the band.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that they all got back together, got the original band back together.
I was going to say, now you played with them, now mainly on the Notorious album. I believe you played a bit on Big Thing. I don't have the list in front of me.
And I did Ordinary World.
Right, yeah. What was it like? What was it like playing with Duran Duran, especially? You got into it right after the big, the screaming teenager era was kind of coming down, and they were getting more into the, it was more solid music focus.
Yeah, it was. I think they were just moving through the different to a different level, becoming more of a mature band. They're a great idea band. I mean, I've watched them in the process of creating their music, and they really have a way of going about stuff. It's kind of loose and it kind of falls together. I'm not going to say that it's luck, but the way that they grab an idea and then enlarge upon that idea, they got a pretty special thing happening. Yeah, they're a great band.
There was one.
My favorite. What was my favorite track?
That was just what I was going to ask you, actually.
It was Skin Trade.
Skin Trade?
Yeah.
Which tends to be one of my favorites, too. I think you were in the video for that song, if memory serves me right. But yeah, that's got a tight. It's got kind of a soul, almost a jazz kind of thing going on for them.
Yeah. They were definitely sort of growing up, and it was definitely sort of grow up musically time. It's all sort of culminated in me when they came out with Ordinary World. It's kind of a funny story how that came about. I was in London, and I was working with George Harrison, and I was driving a car down the King's Road, and I saw this guy, and I said, "Dang!" I said, "That kind of looks like Warren Cucurullo, but he's all pumped up, you know. I mean, he was like Muscle Man."
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen Warren in a couple of years, and he got into this thing about lifting weights, and he was like bodybuilding, and he buffed himself out, and he was this skinny little guy when I knew him, you know.
Right.
So I pulled over, and I was like, "Warren, dang, what have you done to yourself?" And he said, "Oh, great, you're in town." He said, "We're doing this song. You got to come and play on it, you know." And I said, "Well, okay, well, fine." I said, "Well," he said, "Well, when can you do it?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, because it was the first day. We just started the first day of rehearsal." And he said, he reached in his bag and he said, "Look, here's a cassette." That's how long ago it was. Here's a cassette, and we're getting, you know, we'll call and we'll get in touch once you figure out what the schedule is. And I went back to my hotel, and I put in this cassette, this demo of Ordinary World, and I'm like, "Dang, this is a hit song. Like, it doesn't need me to play on it. Like, you could just release this demo and it's a hit."
Yeah.
And then you know, I got round to playing on it, so it was.
It ended up being a classic for them. Completely out of the. I mean, and at that point, their career was seemed to be going down commercial wise. But that's the song. I mean, we're playing it on some of our radio stations back here. It's a staple to the state.
It's a timeless song. I think that song will be around for a long time.
Absolutely. Let's jump to today, and one of my last questions here about your solo CD.
Ah, right.
It Up, and I've got it here.
Listening to the mixes of the new one.
Oh, really? There we go. I got the CD right here. In fact, I was just listening to a little bit of it right before we went on. Probably a lot of people aren't familiar with your solo career, so tell us a little bit about what direction you're taking on this.
Well, you know, it's kind of. I guess it sort of goes on from the average white band days, and it's sort of that sort of rock, funk, sort of blues, jazz.
Mm-hmm. But all the whole melding.
Huh?
The whole melding of styles.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's the musicians that play on the album all come from different backgrounds. I mean, Alex Edgewood, he played with Santana, and then we had Steve Ferrone from Mr. Mister, and then Michael O'Neill, he plays with George Benson. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's kind of a fusion about the thing that we do. It's not I hate using that word fusion, because when I think of fusion music, it's like how many notes can you cram into a bar? It's not really that. Right. It's more groove oriented music, and with a lot of the influences that I liked. You know, I mean, I wrote some of the stuff on the album, and then we got some covers by a country preacher, which was Cannibal Adderley song, and Everything Must Change, which came off of a Quincy Jones album. So it's there's some of my favorites and some originals. It's kind of a mishmash of that. And I see it says it came out 2003, but it's still obviously available. So absolutely, yeah. But actually, if you go into the concert tonight, you can pick one up at the T-shirt desk. I will recommend it right now. So go ahead and go out and get that CD. A couple more quick things. I see you're about to release a Farm Fur with the DeLeo brothers from STP. That's correct. Yeah, we did. That was it's another thing, more of the same sort of stuff, and you know, I think I'm actually toying with the idea of putting some of the It Up. I did a studio version of It Up, and I'm thinking about putting that adding that to the album as well. It should be pretty cool. I got Jeff Young from who plays keyboards with Jackson Browne, and he's on there as well, playing keyboards and singing, and some guest artists. I got Brian Auger and Kev Moe, guest artists on the thing. So it's I'm very, very happy with it. Great. Well, I hope you have a great time. Have you been to Western Wisconsin before? I've been everywhere, man.
Well, there you go.
Isn't that a song?
I've been everywhere, man.
I've been to all 50 states. You believe that?
Oh my gosh, you've been to more states than me. There you go. Well, I hope you can handle the heat. We haven't had heat like this here in Wisconsin in years, but it's going to be a hot time tonight. So have fun at Rockfest, Steve.
It is. The band rocks.
Great. All right. Well, thank you.
We may be old, but we can rock.
Well, the age doesn't matter as long as you got the music.
We conserve our energy, and we get it all ready for that 2 hours, and we let it all go at once. So, watch out.
Great. Well, have a fun time tonight.
I will do.
All right.
And thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.